I've been getting these repeated requests from many of my students to speak something on this global situation today about the pandemic and about uh, the uncertainty that is looming at large in the whole world. It's very strange that throughout the day we are going through, oscillating through, absolute opposites. On one hand, we are discovering new ways and new beautiful equations with our people within the families, as well as within ourselves, our relationship with ourselves, and our ability to cope up with diversity and with disaster and with all kinds of challenges that are coming up with the mobility in the lockdown, and also limited resources available, and so many different things that are coming up front that we never even imagined. And on one hand this is happening, and on the other hand there is this fear, there is this uncertainty, there is this absolute oblivion about how the world is going to shape up in the coming times, what is going to be the new normal, as they say. So I've been getting repeated requests from all of my girls to speak something about this situation. I have been thinking about this, not much, but yes, contemplating and reflecting on the situation, and I feel this is quite normal. It's quite normal because everything in this world is under the grip of duality. It's under the grip of dvand and dichotomy, and two polarities, and oscillation from good and bad, good and bad, good and bad. Every situation in life, every blessing comes with the equal and opposite force. There is a positive and a negative polarity to everything, and this is also one of them. The changing times are scary for the individual self as well as for our ego identity, even collective ego identity, like for companies and for shops and establishments, and for people who are running groups of people that are running a business body or a work body. It's challenging, and it's threatening to an individual self as well as to a collective self. And on the other hand, if we just stay calm and we reflect on it, it is very evident, it is very clear that the challenge is there at a physical, intellectual level. But deep inside, under these folds of challenges and the apparent waves of change which are there, there is a sure, short process of happening, which is which is a very beautiful process of change and evolution that is so evidently happening with a lot of serenity in it. It's scary to use the word serenity amidst people. They're dying and they're getting sick and they're getting scared and worried, but there is a serenity that all of us are sensing. And when you look into the outside, when you look outside of your windows, and when you sense the atmosphere and the weather and the natural bodies which are around, we can sense a serenity. There is serenity, and the serenity is with certitude. There is something nature is doing very positively and with a deep certitude that the change which is happening is kind of very sure as to where it is heading. We may not know it at our individual intellectual level, but there is certitude in whatever is happening. She is sure, nature is sure of what she's doing. The weather, you see, it's middle of May now, the month of May here in Rishikesh. It is very hot in the entire North India, and it's very hot now normally in the month of May, but the weather is like this. We are wearing jackets in the morning still up in the hills, and the day is very pleasant. There is no sign of the summers yet. So there is a transition happening, there is a change happening, and this change is surely a welcome change. There is something uh, which is being, the order of nature is being changed, the hierarchy is being changed, the management is getting reshuffled, and we should honor it with quietude and calm, not with fear and not with hopelessness. That is not the right approach. So duality and dvand is primarily a very intrinsic part of nature, and everything that is manifested is comes under the influence of this duality. It comes under the influence of this duality. It comes under the pressure of these two polarities that are embedded within everything that is created, the positive and the negative polarity. And we are asked to not oscillate from one end to another end, but come into a center. We are asked to come into a center. We are asked to come into a calm and into a space of trust and faith and deep knowing that everything is going to be all right. We are asked to stop oscillating with our thoughts, and we are asked to center ourselves. Nirdvando nitya sattvastaha niryogakshema atmavan. We are asked, as Krishna says to Arjuna, that don't be suspended into the dvand, into the dualistic pattern. Be centered into your existence, into your soul, and stop oscillating. Which is difficult. It is difficult because by nature, the way God has created us, we are born with these oscillating minds, and we are born with this vibratory strings within our system, and so to stop oscillating is a difficult thing. But awareness, when we develop awareness, and when we develop deep trust and love for God, when we develop deep suspension and surrender unto this universal force that is far more knowledgeable than what we can imagine, what we can ever imagine. I mean, as an individual, I was speaking to somebody yesterday. As an individual, we find ourselves, especially when we are educated and well informed of everything, we find our individuality bloated like a balloon, and there is so much of importance given to our individuality and to our independent self that we fail to see it from a larger perspective, from a larger point of view. For instance, I was telling this girl yesterday that, I mean, you're here, you're an achiever, you've attained and you've touched the zenith of your existence, you're successful, you're rich, you are authoritative, and that's evident from the way you sit, it's evident from your countenance. Can you just rise? Can you take your awareness out of your body and rise above and go above to great heights, top of your building, and even higher into the sky, and you see that your building starts getting smaller and you look like a speck, and you go higher, you look like an ant, and your building looks a little larger than that, and you go even higher and higher in the sky, and all the buildings around and your entire town looks like a small painting, and you go higher into the sky, and then you can see no buildings, you can't see you can not see these buildings, and they just appear like a small patch of something. And like when you look out of the window when you're flying, and you look down when you take a flight, it's a beautiful, I love to see out of the window every time I fly, and I see the how it's fading now, the whole town is fading, the whole city is fading, even spaces as large as Mumbai or Delhi fades into nothing. As you go up into the sky, into the clouds, there is the whole scenario down there is invisible, and you go even higher, and you come out of the earth, and the earth looks like a small ball, and when you look at Jupiter, and the Jupiter looks much larger, and when you go even beyond and beyond into the solar system and come close to the sun is so huge, and all the planets look very small, and the earth looks like a tiny ball, like a tennis ball. Where are we? Where are we? What is our existence? What is our size? What is our individuality that we so carefully nurture and that we so carefully guard, and we feel so threatened? Aren't we a part of this entire existence that some power is looking after? The entire solar system is suspended into nothing, and all the planets are orbiting on their own, and they don't fall haywire. They orbit at the same speed, at the same pace, all around the sun, without any mistake. And then you go beyond the solar system, and you see so many more galaxies, and you see so many more heavenly bodies, and they are all suspended into nothing, and they're moving in an order, and they're moving in a discipline, and they're moving in a particular style that somebody is monitoring. Who is this somebody? And this somebody who is monitoring galaxies and solar systems, is he not monitoring you? Is he not looking after you? So why worry? Why worry for all this that is happening? It will calm down, and it will be taken care of. Yes, there are people dying, but I believe firmly that they are not dying. They are being remolded into something more beautiful. There is a lot of chaos we mankind have created on earth. We've cut down so many trees, we've killed animals, we've created disaster, a lot of natural disasters. This is all getting balanced, and energy is being remolded. There isn't anything sad about it. Souls don't die. Souls don't die. If I die today to the pandemic, I don't die. I live here eternally. Souls don't die. We don't die. We are here always, always, always to make this earth beautiful and to enjoy life on earth. So they don't die. They will be remolded. The earth is going to get greener. A lot of soul energy is going to go into the earth, to bring all the trees back, and to bring all the balance of all the soil, and the ecosystem is going to get set right. And I feel that this power, which is annihilating apparently, is remolding, recreating something more beautiful out of us, and we participate with calm faith, trust, and we always stay in this non-oscillating stance in the center, grounded with deep trust, hope, and prayers in our hearts.